listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.
Welcome back to another episode of the Scoreboard Ags podcast. I'm Nick, and with me as always is Anthony the Rook. And unfortunately, TJ couldn't make us, and it will be
just the two of us. We can make it if we try.
I hate when he's not here, but I love that music.
I know.
That's an awesome song.
One time me and TJ sang it together because you weren't here. That's soundboard. And we didn't have the music ready, so we just sang it.
Well, an interesting week of sports this week, obviously. I actually saw something recently. I don't recall who it was, but it was an athlete who doesn't – I mean, obviously he doesn't like baseball because he was like, is July the worst month for sports? And it was like, yeah, if you don't like baseball, but – honestly, for me, March is the worst month for sports because all I hear about is fucking college basketball, which really doesn't fucking matter. And I got to hear about a bunch of kids that will never play pro sports playing a game that I honestly have zero respect for and little regard for. So I hate March. I hate March. March is awful. March Madness is a waste of everybody's energy, and I hate hearing about basketball. It's the easiest sport ever invented. Be tall, automatically good.
Well, some of those guys aren't tall in college basketball, which makes it more interesting.
Yeah, it's not interesting at all. They're not going to play pro sports.
It doesn't matter. It's still a lot of fun.
It's like watching college baseball. It's even more tedious than watching college baseball.
Now, college basketball is great. It's great to gamble on.
It's not. College basketball exists so that couldn't play basketball and watch people that look like them play basketball.
Hey, I have a rebuttal here, all right? I let you talk. You watch basketball from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. It's 12 hours of basketball. It's amazing. Everyone takes off work. No one wants to work that day. I love college basketball. I love March Madness, and you're a crazy person for not liking it.
So. Basketball in general sucks. And you're talking about college basketball where they score less points and are less talented. Oh, yeah, it sounds great.
Well, that's your take on it, and it's wrong. So
I don't understand how they're 7 feet tall and they still can't score more than like 65 points in a game where it's like a technical to give somebody a dirty look. I don't get it. But I digress. Baseball is going. Football summer camp just started. Mini camp is over. Veterans have arrived for every team in the NFL, and we're all here to witness it. So what do you want to start with, Counselor?
Let's start with the New York Yankees in the Subway Series.
The Subway Series was, I got to be honest with you.
It's the World Series, right?
It's lost a little luster for
championship.
If you're a Mets fan, the Subway Series is definitely your World Series, considering you're probably not going to see a World Series victory in your life. But I digress. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's lost a little luster for me. It has. I remember being a kid. The only way you would ever, for our younger listeners and our older listeners will remember this, before I believe it was 1996. The only way a National League team would play an American League team in the same city would be if they met each other in the World Series or if they held some sort of exhibition game, which didn't count. 1996 rolls around and baseball moves into interleague play with a bunch of other additions like the wild card and things like that. Interleague play wasn't the only thing, but interleague play was still scarce. It didn't happen all the time. So if I remember right, though, the Subway Series used to be in May every year. And it was like a week and a half apart from each other where they played in one stadium and then a week and a half later they played in the other stadium.
Yeah, typically what it would be is they would have interleague would be either May or June, sometime in the year when interleague it would just be interleague for 2 weeks without the entire league. Whereas now it's interleague every single day, which has changed recently with when they moved the Astros over to the American League, they started doing interleague every day. But yeah, back then, and the best was when you would have the Mets and the Yankees would play on one weekend and they would play the following weekend. And if there was a rain out Yankee Stadium, say the first day on the first weekend, they would then play a day-night doubleheader at 2 different stadiums on the same day, which never really happened before because usually doubleheaders just happen in the same ballpark, day and night. So that was one year. I think it was, I'm going to say 98 and 99. Well, actually, no, it was 2000 because it was when the Mets and the Yankees won. They both went to the World Series against each other. They had the Subway Series earlier that year where the Yankees, they played the first game in Yankee Stadium, and then everyone traveled left and went to at the time Shea Stadium, and they played the second game there at night, which has never happened, which is just a cool thing, weird thing where everyone just got in the train and took the train over from the Bronx to the Queens, and that was a lot of fun.
To the Queens.
To the Queens.
So was that the year? If 1 year, George Steinbrenner, rest his soul. By the way, nice line and Kugel. George Steinbrenner walked into the visitors clubhouse at Shea Stadium and said, "What is this fucking rat hole?" and demanded that the Yankees furniture from Yankee Stadium be brought to Shea Stadium so that the Yankees wouldn't have to sit in a hovel of a rat's nest of just disgusting Metsdom. And I you know what? It wasn't a coincidence. Some loser from the Mets went into the clubhouse in the middle of the game and busted a pipe to ruin the furniture. Like you don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
So George Steinbrenner made a big stink about how the furnishings in the visitors clubhouse was not good enough for his team, and they probably weren't because let's be real, it's the fucking Yankees and they're them. Then he had the Yankees furniture moved from Yankee Stadium into Shea Stadium's visitors clubhouse, and coincidentally, there was a pipe that burst in the visitors clubhouse and ruined all the furniture by coincidence. Of course, couldn't have been fucking Mets just embarrassed that they had a fucking hole for their opposing teams. It couldn't have been that. Had to have been an accident, of course. But I remember that, but then again, I also remember this series meaning something and being very important to the fans and management, especially our owner who refused to lose to the Mets. And it was like a hell-worthy trespass if you did. And how far we've come, because I ultimately feel like our management, from our owner through our general manager to our manager, just didn't give a shit, and they punted these last 2 games. We did not see. We have punted every game against the Mets and the Astros this year. We have not put our best lineup out there. The only thing I could think of with Aaron Boone and the way he's running this team for these big rivalry games against competitive teams is that he sees it as a NFL preseason where you don't put your best plays on the field, the very vanilla plays, because you don't want to give away too much for the regular season. So I guess the reason he's not putting his best foot forward against the Astros and the Mets is because he anticipates obviously meeting the Astros in the playoffs, but he must think he's going to meet the Mets in the World Series.
I think he gets outmanaged every time he goes against Dusty. And obviously this is the first time against Buck, but against Buck, I mean, he was outmanaged in both those games. Like, there's no doubt about it.
You don't get outmanaged before the game starts. When you're starting Joey Callow with a K, that's not outmanaged. You're just stupid or you're not trying.
Well, I'm talking about during the game, though. There were mistakes he did make during the game.
We came back off the All-Star break, and he could have basically started anybody he wanted to make this series be Garrett Cole and Nestor Cortez, and he elected not to do that.
Yeah. He
went out of his way to not do that.
He made the doubleheader against the Astros, Monty and Herman, and then he did the exact same thing for the last 2 games against the Mets. So it's like
he punted those games.
Yeah, you had Domingo Herman started in both of those games against 2 big rivals that you may possibly see, and I think you're going to see the Astros, but you may possibly see the Mets as well. And it's like you put Domingo Herman, who's I think his second start off of the IL, right? The first two starts
this season
for the season. And you're putting one against Astros. He was embarrassed. He did pitch well last night against Scherzer. I mean, listen, you go against Scherzer. Maybe they didn't want to waste a good start against someone like Scherzer because it's a regular season. It's not a playoff. I mean, that's the only explanation that I have why they put Herman out there instead of someone like, a Cole or a Nestor. But, I mean, who else are you going to put out there anyway? You have Monty's been very good, but he did not play well against the Mets. He got embarrassed in that. I think he had 71 pitches to get 7 outs. It was disgusting what he did in that first game.
Here's my problem, right? I'm a firm believer that fans have influence over the team in a sense of how good you feel. I can't imagine Joey Gallo feels good about the way the fans are treating him, and he shouldn't because he sucks at baseball. Sure, he's a great guy, a nice human being. I don't know. I've never met him. Sure, he's an awesome dude. Baseball's just not for him right now, at least not professionally. Right now, he is worse than Chris Davis.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And Chris Davis was bad. He never put up the production that Chris Davis did prior to becoming an albatross of a contract. But my point being is that if the fans have influence over the team and how the team is performing based on their reaction to what's going on in the field of play, wouldn't it be in the best interest of the franchise to make sure the fans are happy? Because Aaron Boone may not give a shit. And Brian Cashman doesn't give a shit. And we all know that Hal Steinbrenner don't give a shit as long as he's making money. He couldn't care if the Yankees were in first place or last place, as long as the stadium sells out and Yankee hats are sold. Couldn't give a shit less. But the fans care. Yankee fans want to beat the Mets.
Of course. The Mets fans want to beat the Yankees.
Just to remind them that they belong in the basement. Like, as a reminder, like, just in case you were getting a little too full of yourself, here's a snap back to reality. You still suck. Like, Yankee fans want that. And any Yankee fan that says that's not true, they're full of shit, okay? In-state rivalries are very real. The Yankees hated the Giants. The Yankees hated the Dodgers, okay? And they hate the Mets. Like, that's just how it is. Just like we hate the freaking Red Sox because they're a regional rivalry.
Well, here's the thing.
The Phillies.
Well, here's the thing too: is you could tell the owner of the Mets, Stevie Cohen, wants to beat the Yankees. Like, he wants his team to go out there and beat the Yankees. Whereas
that's his World Series.
When we had George as owner, George Steinbrenner wanted to beat the Mets and make them know that we own the city. This is New York. This is Yankee City. You're just a resident here. You're a tenant.
Deep down inside, every Met wants to be a Yankee.
Yeah. And that's the difference right now, is that we currently have an owner who is not as vocal of beating the Mets.
No, he's vocal about not giving a shit about winning.
Well, I'm saying he's not as vocal towards wanting to beat the Mets and show them that this is our city. It doesn't make him any more money. What?
It doesn't make him any more money.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So he doesn't give a shit. Therefore, the general manager doesn't care. Therefore, the manager's not going to care. It all really comes down as the fans want to win that game, and the fans are not the players or the manager or the management. And I think that's where it comes into play, where they're just like, it's a regular season game. We don't have to go all out. Just because it's against the Mets, it makes the fans happy. We're going to do what we're going to have to do. We have
because fuck the fans, right? Who gives a shit if the fans are happy?
Well, that's basically what it comes down to. And they're saying that this is our book. This is what we had planned for this week. Herman's going to pitch this week. Doesn't matter who the opponent is. He's scheduled a pitch, and that's it. We're not going to make any switches or changes based upon because we're playing the Mets or the Astros. And that's basically what they're coming down to. And that's what they're trying to do. It's regular season. They're looking towards the playoffs. And they're basically just like, who cares?
I really hope that they know that the Astros are going to go into the playoffs knowing they can beat the shit out of the Yankees, and the Yankees are going to go in the playoffs hoping that they can beat the Astros. It's gotten to that position at this point. And if we do get to the World Series and see the Mets, and if the Mets beat us next week again, all right, they'll know they could beat the shit out of the Yankees for 4 games straight as well.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's a movie, but it's real. In Mighty Ducks, he goes, "Congratulations, you just gave up any competitive edge you had over the varsity." When the JV plays the varsity and they wax the shit out of them, it gives them confidence. It gives them absolute confidence to do it whenever they want. A drubbing.
That's true. I agree with that. But let's move on from the Subway Series. Obviously, the Yankees did get swept. Even though it was a 2-game set, this is still a sweep.
By the way, that's the other thing I don't like. Like, the Subway Series used to be a 3-game series.
Yeah, it used to be
and
6
now
games.
It's a game, and I'm like, I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch either game because I looked at the lineups. I looked at who's pitching, and I was like, oh, so they're not even trying. I'm not even going to watch. It's like a spring training game right now.
I watch it because it's still the allure of the Subway Series.
It had no allure to me at all because I'm like, you're not trying. Like, I don't want to watch base. It would be like, I'm sorry. I've gotten to the point where I'm older now. If I go to a game and you get your ass beat and you put a position player to pitch, I'm leaving. You're not trying anymore. So why should I care? You don't care. So why should I care?
I agree with that. But
it's evident to me that Aaron Boone didn't give a fuck, so I didn't watch it because you're not going to put an effort in. So why should I give a fuck? And MLB was clearly using juiced balls.
Oh, 100%. The first inning ever. What was there?
Three home runs in the first fucking
four home runs.
4 home runs in the first 40 pitches tossed.
Yeah, there was 6 runs scored in the first inning. That was it.
Somebody must have saw that and they were like, "Quick, switch them out. It's too obvious.
Like, too much."
Because Twitter immediately was like, "Juiced balls."
That's what I said. I was like, they juiced the balls again. But moving on from the Subway Series, obviously, we'll see what happens in a couple of weeks. The Yankees, they'll be at home. Maybe they'll change things up and get some sort of competitive edge against the Mets again. But what happened now?
We're getting spammed.
Oh, God damn it again. Block user. Even though naked girls. Just kidding. Spam, you motherfucker. Anyway, moving on. Andrew Benintendi is now a New York Yankee. We saw him tonight in his first game in pinstripes. His first at bat, he got struck out looking.
Benny Blanco in the Bronx.
Yeah, Benny Blanco in the Bronx. So, what'd you think so far? This obviously they won the game 1-0 or a walk-off home run by Judge. What do you think about Andrew Benintendi and him now being in pinstripes?
So, I jested earlier today about Andrew Benintendi coming over to the Yankees, and I believe it was you that said something, and I said they'll still bench him so that Joey Gallo can play. It's Gallo with a K. Kallo. And I was kidding. They did not bench Andrew Benintendi. However, they did bench DJ LeMahieu, who was on fire the last 2 games, so that Joey Gallo could go out there and put on a show of how he cannot hit a baseball. And it's gotten worse to the point where I'm sitting here looking at it today. What did he do today? 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. Look at my shocked face.
Actually, the box score up too. He really went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
He went over. I wasn't kidding. He went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. And then, of course, Aaron Boone, in his infinite wisdom, it's the 8th inning. Joey Gallo is coming up. Opportunity for a pinch hit, possibly to get a win. And he lets Joey Gallo bat, and he pinch hits Marwin Gonzalez. He pinch hits Carpenter for Marwin Gonzalez instead of Joey Gallo. So then Kiner Falefa has to go in to replace Matt Carpenter.
Oh, yeah. Matt Carpenter, yeah.
So Matt Carpenter goes in, replaces Marwin Gonzalez at shortstop to hit for him instead of hitting for Joey Gallo, because that would have made too much sense.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I guess he was like, I'm going righty, lefty, lefty. Guess what? Some people just can't fucking hit no matter who's pitching. Sorry. Like, I guarantee you if I brought up splits, Joey Gallo splits righty versus lefty, lefty versus righty, he'd still be fucking awful. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody ever sat there and was like, oh, there's a lefty pitching today. Ted Williams, you got to take a seat, guy. You can't hit today.
Yeah, that's true.
During Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak, I don't think Casey Stengel sat there and was like, sorry, Joe, you got to sit today. There's a righty pitching today. Get the fuck out of here, Aaron Boone. How would you? Joey Gallo's batting 159. You need a base runner in that instant. Why do you pinch hit for Marwin Gonzalez, who's not doing much better, but he's batting 222? Because you could have pinch hit Marwin Gonzalez, but IKF, who's a little bit on fire hitting singles right now.
Yeah, he's hitting base hits. Yeah,
he's got a couple of. I think he got a couple game hit streak right now going on. So why wouldn't you?
It might have ended, but he
might have ended yesterday.
I think it might have been.
Fair enough.
12 at one point.
Fair enough. He's a little on fire, though. He's getting on base, okay? So why would you pinch hit Matt Carpenter for Marwin Gonzalez instead of Joey Gallo? Because of lefty, righty, righty? Get the fuck out of here. Joey Gallo couldn't hit if the guy had no arms. If the guy Paul O'Neill'd the ball and kicked it to home plate, Joey Gallo would whiff.
That's what I'm talking about. He gets outmanaged. He wasted 2 players on that one move. when he could have just put Carpenter in for Gallo and left it.
And IKF in for if you really want to pinch hit for Gonzalez, put IKF in there.
Yeah, then put him bench hit from that. And that was going back to the Met game, was they were down late in that game. Diaz came in. It was an opportunity to score a run, and he pinch hit IKF. Pinch hit IKF for Joey Gallo. I'm sorry, Joey Gallo for IKF. And it's like a guy who makes contact. You took him out of the game to put a guy in because you didn't want to face him against a righty because Diaz was a righty. Like, that's why.
The whole Yankee fan world was sitting there going, did you just strike out on purpose? Why don't you just go up there and go, we're striking out? Why not just bat out of order? And we could save ourselves a whole fucking at bat of Joey Gallo sitting there striking out.
I mean,
at least if you bat out of order, they just call you out and that's it. We don't have to throw a pitch.
It was so predictable that he was going to strike out. It was the waste of a move.
Let's talk about management, right? We're talking about management. You're talking about in-game. Let's talk about before the game, okay? I'm fairly certain, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Yankees had an all-star catcher this season.
Yeah.
And they had an off day on Monday.
Yep.
So my stupid question for the day is, why the fuck wasn't Jose Trevino playing yesterday?
On Tuesday, you mean?
No, yesterday. Or Tuesday. Yeah, I guess Tuesday. He didn't.
Yeah, we usually record on Wednesdays. That's probably why you're confused.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But why did he have an extra day off? You know, I thought about this for a second, and I saw the lineup today, and I had a flashback to being, and maybe I'm just remembering my childhood differently. I don't recall like Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill, Tino Martinez, Derek Jeter, Chuck Knobloch having days off every fucking day. I don't recall this. I just don't remember them not playing. I remember the same lineup for like 4 years. It was the same fucking 9 guys, maybe plus or minus 1 or 2 guys, you know, from 96 to 2000. It was the same people every single day. Cal Ripken Jr. played 4,008,222,000,000 games straight. Okay. These guys can't play a day game after a night game, and they make fucking 10 times more than what their predecessors made 30 years ago.
Like, you know what? It was Wednesday.
Bobby Bonilla was the first $1 million player in like 1994.
No, so Jose played Tuesday, but he was benched on Wednesday.
That's what I'm saying. So he didn't play Wednesday.
He didn't play Wednesday, but he played Tuesday. Yeah, so you're right. Yours yesterday. No, you said the off day Monday. You're right, though. He had off day Monday.
So again, he had an off day on Monday, played on Tuesday, off day on Wednesday. Why? It wasn't a day game after a night game. It wasn't fucking Cole pitching. Why? Why? An all-star fucking catcher and the best pitcher in baseball. Fuck it. He's going to sit down. We're going to play Higashioka. He can't fucking hit, but, you know, it doesn't matter anyway because we're not trying to win this game.
Your question would be, do they want to give him a day off? Jose Trevino pinch hit. He played last night's game. So he didn't really get a full
Aaron Boone doesn't know what he's doing 90% of the time.
I know we're supposed to talk about Benintendi, but this came right back to talking about his management skills because he's just terrible. Because you're right, it was Benintendi just got traded for him. You put him in the roster, you bench DJ, and then you bench Carpenter too. Obviously, he pinch hit later on in the game, but then you benched both of those batters, and then you still play Joey Gallo. So they brought in Benintendi for no reason because you're still gonna have that bum fucking Gallo out there wasting at bats that anybody could have. Joey Gallo to me is the new Brett Gardner, where his ceiling has been reached and it's not high at all. And there's somebody dying somewhere in minor league baseball that could use those at bats and do something with them. Anything. You can't sit there and tell me, well, and then you have the fucking the Callow stands out there going, he plays gold glove level defense. I don't give a shit. I don't care. They're not losing because he's not catching fly balls out there. They're losing because he can't hit. Defense is the easiest part of baseball. I played baseball in high school. I played baseball in college. Defense is the easiest part of your game to fucking improve. Nobody's trying. There's no fucking free safety out there trying to stop you from catching the ball. You're right. And I agree with you. I think Joey Gallo obviously should not be Yankee uniform anymore. They need to get rid of him.
He should be in a major league uniform. The way he's hitting. He's batting 160.
You gotta think about what guys are in the minor leagues. They're wasting Miguel Andujar's career. The guy could hit.
But you understand why, right?
Yeah,
it's because Joey Gallo makes $10 million and Hal Steinbrenner refuses to let him go make $10 million sitting at home.
Yeah,
He's not going to do it.
I agree. But, I mean, I think it's a good move putting Benintendi in. We were talking about this before as well because we were talking about this off before we started recording, was that people on Twitter were saying that, well, Benintendi only has 3 home runs. Guys, if you don't understand why they acquired someone like Benintendi, then you need to understand baseball and not call yourself a baseball fan. Just call yourself a Yankee fan. Don't call yourself a baseball fan because we're both baseball fans. We get it. Andrew Benintendi is not acquired to be a power hitter. He's there to be a contact guy. The reason why we have holes in our lineup is guys like Joey Gallo who can't make contact. So you're trying to replace Gallo with Benintendi, a guy who makes contact, base hits, get on base, get walks, so that big batters like a Judge or a Stanton or a Rizzo can then make the contact and bring those guys in. You need contact guys to be an all-around great baseball team, and that's what Benintendi is going to bring to this team. He's going to bring them contact. He's going to bring them on base percentage. You're not going to see these strikeouts, the 0 for 3 with 3K type of days with a guy like Andrew Benintendi. I know it was ironic that the first at bat he had as a Yankee was a strikeout looking, but that's not going to happen very often. And I think people need to understand that we're not acquiring this guy, that every player is going to be a power hitter, and every player is going to crush the ball. Benintendi is a contact guy. And that's very important for the New York Yankees right now to have a guy like that either leading off or batting second in front of those big bats like Judge and Stanton. I see you're looking around. What are you looking for?
Yeah, I saw something. I want to say MLB posted it. But they did a side-by-side of Benintendi and Gallo.
Well, I have the numbers here. Do you want to see the numbers? The average?
Yeah.
Batting average, Benintendi's 316, Gallo's 159. You have on-base percentage of 383 for Benintendi, and you have on-base percentage of 282 for Gallo. Slugging percentage is 393 for Benintendi. Gallo is 339. So he's slashing better than Joey Gallo in every one of those categories.
And it's the only people sitting there saying, why did you get, he has no home runs, are the people who are analytics nerds that look at things like OPS.
Yeah.
Everybody on your team cannot be a 40 home run hitter.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge right now is leading Major League Baseball in RBI, if I'm correct. You don't get RBIs if the guy in front of you hit a home run. You get 1 RBI.
Yeah.
You get 1 RBI. So if you hit 50 home runs and nobody was ever on base in front of you, you have 50 RBI. You know what that's called? It's called not winning baseball. You know how I know? Ask Mike Trout. Ask Shohei Ohtani. Nobody's ever on base in front of those 2 guys. Ever.
Agreed.
Okay? So the long and short of it is right now, actually, Pete Alonso just passed Aaron Judge today.
Yeah.
Most RBI in baseball. But Aaron Judge
leads the AL, though.
Judge, and he's 83. By my estimation as a baseball fan, I've been watching baseball for 35 years. If you have 40 home runs, over 100 RBI, and like 80 runs scored, you fucking rocked. And you're batting 280 and above, you rocked the league that year. You rocked it. If you drove in over 100, yeah. I remember being a kid, Bernie Williams and Paul O'Neill drove over 100 every year.
Mm-hmm.
Every year. And they didn't hit 40 home runs. They hit 28, 30 maybe, 32. They weren't really power hitters cranking them out, but they hit with runners in scoring position. And that's how you win baseball games. You don't win by swinging for the fences, launch angle, OPS. You don't win that way. You know how I know you don't win that way? Because the Oakland Athletics created that shit. And the last time I checked, they haven't won a World Series since the 80s.
That's true. That is true.
All right. All that shit about, Moneyball works. No, it fucking doesn't. They were the best of the worst. Look at the division they played in when they started making the playoffs. There was nobody left. A-Rod left Seattle. Texas had nobody.
Yeah.
All right. And the Angels were good for 1 season, and that was it. And the 1 year the Angels won, what was that, 2002?
2002, yeah.
What did they have? They had guys like Jimmy Edmonds, Tim Salmon.
Yeah.
They had good pitching. That's how they win.
Yeah.
Guys, contact hitters that drive in runs and get spammed again. It's Benintendi's good for the game. All right. Like if you've never watched baseball or you think you understand baseball, but you really don't because you're an analytics person, I'm going to tell you how the whole lineup is supposed to work, right? The first guy is supposed to get on base. The second guy is supposed to move the first guy over. That's where
Okay.
Jeter was great because he hit the ball to the opposite field, which is almost guaranteed to move the guy over.
Yeah.
All right. The third guy is supposed to either drive the first guy in or continue to move him over to the third base. And the fourth guy is supposed to score the first guy. That's how baseball works. In case you didn't know, I just gave you how 1 through 4 work on a Major League Baseball lineup. You're not supposed to sit there and be like, well, the first guy is going to be really slow as shit, but he'll hit 50 dongs with nobody on base. Do you know why Ricky Henderson let off?
Because he stole bases.
Because he was the fastest fucking human being that ever walked the face of the planet Earth. Ricky Henderson laced him up one day, looked at Jesus Christ and was like, Jesus, $20 says I got you in a sprint. And he beat his ass. He beat him. All right. So Benintendi is good. He gets on base, plays plus defense, and is a contact hitter. You know what is? I think he has like a 400 batting or close to like 350 and above batting average with runners in scoring position. That's fucking crazy. That is crazy.
And Joey Gallo has like a 0.
Joey Gallo has less hits than Aaron Judge has home runs.
That's insane. It's so bad.
That is crazy. For a man that's played the whole season up to August, he has less hits than Aaron Judge has more home runs than Joey Gallo has hits.
It's insane.
Take Joey Gallo and all his fans, throw them into the sun because they're ruining the world.
I have nothing else to say. I can't. I'm so happy they got Benintendi because I really think it's going to be the end of Gallo. It has to be the end of Gallo. You can't have him on this roster anymore.
He played today. How the fuck did he play today? Everybody was like, that's the end of Joey Gallo. His last at bat, he struck out. They were talking about yesterday.
Well, Nick, you know that they were off Monday and then DJ played 2 straight games, so he needed a day off.
Somewhere in the world, Cal Ripken Jr. is just like, man, day off?
What's that?
I think I got a lap dance from her once. Like,
Yeah. Like, what the hell?
But
anyway, I digress.
It's the trade deadline. What else are we talking about with the trade deadline? Who's on the move?
A move just made. Tyler Nyquin from the Reds just got traded to the Mets, and along with him was Phil Deal. So they're over at the Mets now. They're now
Schedule that World Series.
That was a trade that was made. There's obviously Juan Soto's a big story. There's a lot of rumors swirling around him. Dodgers are in on it. Seattle's in on him. San Diego's in on him. So Yankees have made an offer. They claim sometimes they're sources all over the place. They say Yankees made a really good offer. Yankees didn't make a good offer. Yankees.
I heard Jeff Passan said that the Yankees made the best offer.
Yeah, I heard that too. But then I also heard another person say the Yankees are not offering enough prospects for the Nationals to get Juan Soto. So
and that might be true.
But
that might be true. If the Yankees aren't offering enough prospects to get Juan Soto, that very well may be true. But let's be honest, can't both be true? Can't you also not be offering the most enough products to get the guy and also still have given the best option?
Yeah, I didn't say that properly. So another report came out saying that the Padres, Dodgers, and Seattle are offering more prospects, top prospects than the Yankees are. So the Yankees would be offering more prospects, but not offering top prospects, which is what
my top prospect is better than your top prospect, then my deal's still better than yours. Even if you give me your top 5 prospects, but they all suck, and mine is I'm giving you one and it's the best.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what their prospect pool looks like right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm just saying is Jeff Passan tends not to be the guy to bullshit, and he's the one that said it.
No,
I don't trust reporters, but I kind of trust Jeff Passan.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I just don't know. There's just so many different reports and sources and rumors about going around about what's happening with Juan Soto. I think only time will tell at this point. We're not going to really know what the true offers or where everyone stands at this point. Obviously the other name is Luis Castillo. And there was a report today saying that now the Reds want to, I think it was like Buster Olney or one of those guys that said now that the Reds want to stand pat with him. They want to keep him in the Reds organization. They actually don't even want to trade him. Another name for the Yankees is Montez from the Oakland A's. So Yankees are obviously always in on these type of people because everyone's always looking at the Yankees to improve their team to make that World Series run. And the Yankees have always been known to make a big splash at the trade deadline, except for like last year when they only trade. Well, actually, they did trade for Rizzo at that point, but Joey Gallo was their big, acquisition last year, which kind of stuck. And they got Rizzo on a rental which he ended up panning out and playing pretty well, and then getting the contract this year. So, it is what it is. I guess just only time will tell when it comes to these rumors. If you're on Twitter all day long, looking at MLB and refreshing it, and you'll see rumors from everybody. You can't believe what's true. You don't even know what the hell's going on at this point.
Couple things. One, the first thing I want to say is I was against Gallo coming to the Yankees the moment I heard about it.
When they traded for him, I hated it.
I said we already have Stanton. We have a guy who strikes out, plays right field, and fucking hits home runs. Like, why? Even when we got Stanton, I was like, we already have Judge, the same fucking guy. Like, what are we doing? Because I'm a firm believer in 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, if everybody's the same 1 through 4, then there's no diversity whatsoever, and you're going to get the same result every time. You're going to get some games where you score 8 runs and a lot of games where you score 0.
Yeah, which is what happened last year with them.
But right now the Marlins are apparently having a fire sale.
Are they? Who they?
As well as the Detroit Tigers.
The Tigers are. We actually got that a couple of weeks ago. I went back and listened to the show. You were talking about how the Tigers would be one of those teams that people would pick from. We were talking about how the Yankees could pick from to improve their team, but we had said that the Tigers are definitely one of those teams that would give up. But there's no one there for the Yankees to take from the Tigers to improve the team. So
they don't have shit.
Yankees won't be making any deal with them.
The Marlins don't either. The Marlins pretty much have said that we'll trade everybody but Alcantara.
Well, I mean that's smart. Alcantara's been
which to me is like, okay, Alcantara, you only have 2 good players, and the other one's on the disabled list and can't be traded. So like, the fuck are we doing here? Like,
yeah,
Jazz Chisholm, that's it, and he's injured right now, and Alcantara. So who else on the Marlins am I trading for?
Yeah,
this isn't the 2003 fucking Marlins where you got Josh Beckett and fucking,
Miguel Cabrera,
Dontrell Willis.
Yeah.
This isn't like what the fuck. Like, what am I looking for on the fucking Marlins?
It'll be really interesting because I think he's a free agent this year, isn't it, Ohtani? If they were to make a move together,
I don't think he's a free agent this year. He's a free agent 2 years.
Oh, the year after. I know he's coming up with free agency, but imagine him getting moved away from the Angels. That happen, but that'd be fucking crazy if someone was.
I'll tell you this right now. I could see him doing what Trout did and signing a contract with like the Oakland Athletics. there are some players that just don't want to be anybody.
No, but he claims. I mean, there was reports that he does want to move on from the Angels. He wants to go somewhere to win. He doesn't want to just sit back and just.
Well, then why the fuck did he sign with the Angels in the first place? Because last time I checked, the Yankees offered him a great deal, and he was like, "I don't want to be the second Japanese guy on a team," which is the most racist thing I've ever fucking heard. But whatever, it is what it is. Because he didn't want to play with Tanaka.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, here's the thing crazy about Mike Trout was this week the news came out that he has that rare back condition that apparently is going to linger throughout his career. He's going to. Not like he's like dying or anything. He said he came out. He was like,
he's going to be like Don Mattingly.
Yeah, he has to just work with it. Like,
listen, I have 0 tears to shed for Mike Trout. Mike Trout had the opportunity to be a face of baseball, and he decided he didn't want to. He could have taken baseball to a more prominent level than it is right now, and the best player in the game decided to let baseball fall to 3rd in our country, and fucking basketball is more watched than baseball right now.
Well, the only thing about Mike Trout is whenever they mic him up, they always ask him about the weather. Like, apparently he really likes the weather and he's good at telling.
He likes being able to go to the mall and nobody knows who he is. He said it. He was like, I love going to the mall, and I can go to the mall in LA.
But it's just weird.
Nobody goes to their games, so how would anybody ever know who he is?
But he's just so uninteresting too. Like, he's the best player in baseball. He's extreme talent, 5-tool player, and then you mic him up and you're asking him about what the clouds are in the fucking sky.
I want you to know Derek Jeter's boring as shit too.
He is too, but it wasn't.
Derek Jeter is like, just want to put my best foot forward. Good Lord willing, I'll come through. I want to thank my teammates. Like, it's the scripted fucking thing from Bull Durham. Every fucking time Derek Jeter opened his mouth, it was that fake story, because Derek Jeter is a selfish guy and he thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread, but he gave you the fake essence, like he was like a really good dude, and he wasn't a good dude. He was a really bad dude. That's why he fired a dying man from the Marlins when he became president. I don't know who does shit like that. Guy lost a kidney and had cancer, and he's like, "You're fired." What do you mean you can't scout? You're fired.
Oh, you just come on. I just come out of nowhere and just talk about Jeter. What
I'm just saying is, like, Mike Trout's not interesting, but neither is Derek Jeter at all. He's not interesting at all. There's the same, and neither is Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is boring as shit.
I don't know. I feel like Aaron Judge.
We asked Aaron Judge, like, Aaron, some kid is really upset that you might leave the Yankees. Well, there's plenty of other players to root for. Most boring motherfucker I ever met. He's like Roger Maris boring.
Well, he had that canned answer because he doesn't want to allude to that he may be leaving the Yankees and get the fans pissed off from halfway through a season.
Next season,
I don't blame him for that.
Next season, it'll be Aaron. You won the American League MVP. How does it feel? Pretty good, I guess.
Nah, he's better than that. They mic'd him up during the All-Star game. He was pretty good. He wasn't boring. His mic went out actually, but
Kermit was pretty funny at the All-Star game.
All right, well,
Kermit Cole, but I don't feel bad for Mike Trout and his back injury.
God damn it,
we're getting spammed again.
Yeah. Another one.
Holy shit. Mike Trout with the back injury. It's very unfortunate for Mike Trout, but Mickey Mantle played an entire career with a torn ACL. Like he tore his ACL in 1951 and he played till 1969 or some shit like that with a torn ACL because they didn't have ACL repair surgery back then.
Yeah.
So like Mike Trout's got a back injury. Okay. So now we won't see him play at 80% instead of like 100%. Like we never saw him play in the first place because he played on the team that sucked on the West Coast. So now we'll see him play at 80%, but we won't see him play because he doesn't play. Like, okay. DeGrom's injured too all the time. Like baseball players get injured. It is what it is.
Yeah. So I mean that was the big news I think this week in the MLB. And then moving on, I guess. Do you have any other MLB points before we move on to the NFL?
Yeah, the Red Sox suck really badly.
Oh, that's true. They got outscored the worst run differential since like 1904. They were outscored 54. I'm sorry, the run differential was 54 runs, which is a lot. I don't know. That's not great.
The Boston Red Sox are last place in the AL East.
Yeah, they forgot how to play baseball in that game against Toronto. Did you see the ball was like 15 feet behind the outfielder and he was running in for it?
Honestly, if it was me and I guess Joey Cora is their manager, right?
Yeah, Alex
Cora, excuse me. Wrong Cora. Alex Cora is their manager. And I believe that player was Duran that did that. He also did the same thing against the Yankees, did he not? Or am I crazy? Or was that Verdugo?
No, that was Verdugo.
Okay. So Duran's playing center field. That ball gets hit over his head. And his reaction, and I understand that he's dejected, he's upset, he's embarrassed. He walked to that ball.
Yeah,
his ass would have been in the minor leagues before he would have gotten back to the dugout. I would have pulled him out of the game, middle of the game, and go, "You're going back down to the minors. We'll play with 25 today instead of 26." But you're a professional baseball player. The ball went over your head. That's bad enough. I got it. Mistakes happen. A ball once hit Jose Canseco in the head and went over the fence. It's embarrassing. That does not excuse you from giving up on the play.
No.
You're not injured. Your pride is hurt. That's it. I don't care if the left fielder is coming over and he's going to get there before you. You cannot walk to the ball. You can't. The fans paid to see you run. I don't care what you feel. I don't care how upset you are. The fans pay your fucking salary. The ball goes over your head. They're pissed off. You're embarrassed. And you turn around and you just walk toward the ball with zero intention of trying to get there. And you're like, fuck it. It's an inside the park home run. I'll let the left fielder get it. Dude, he would have been in the minor leagues before anything. I'd have been like, you little motherfucker, get off my field. Take off that jersey and get out of my stadium.
I definitely would have benched him.
I would have gotten rid of him. I would have gotten rid of him. You can't do that.
No, it's
pathetic. You can't do that. The only time you can give up on a play is if it's the walk-off hit and the game is over.
You know what, though? It couldn't happen to a better franchise.
You know what? I hate the Red Sox.
In the basement.
I hate the Red Sox. There's so many people in the world dying to play professional baseball.
I know.
And that stupid jerk off has a ball go over his head and he doesn't even try. Doesn't even try.
No, he didn't.
Just let it happen. He turns around. He's upset. I get it. You're upset. There's no reason to turn around and walk. Like, then just stand there. Why are you even walking toward the ball? Give even less effort and just stand there.
All right. Well,
I'll never understand that. I will never understand that. And if I were a reporter, I would have asked him. So like the ball goes over your head. I understand that part. Why didn't you try to go after it? Don't you think you owe it to the fans to run after the ball that you just fucked up?
I agree.
You're not hurt other than your pride. You're not hurt. So you gave 0% after you fucked up. Most people make an error and they scramble after it to try to make up for the error. Oh, no. Not Duran. He just fucking sat there and was like, fuck it. Fuck this game.
Yeah. Well, moving on. That was our takes on baseball this week. And we have a couple segment. We're doing a little segment here about NFL. We'll run quick through NFL training camp. There's a lot going on. I think then after that, we'll be done with the show. But quick little break right now. So listen to our sponsors. And we're back from that. We'll put it in post. Anyone who's watching, that's why that happens. But anyway, moving on to NFL, I do have two pictures for you that I think you would enjoy about the NFL training camp. So one is this one. CJ Uzomah, the new tight end, the Jets, coming to the training camp with the person of the year. For the radio, he's wearing the Zach Wilson person of the year in Time picture, a meme that basically came out after he had found out that everyone found out that apparently he had banged one of his moms and he likes Cougars. So people love that. So that was a good one for Jets training camp. And the media cannot let go of the fact they believe that Mekhi Becton.
Thank you.
My bad.
They believe that Mekhi Becton is just a fat, lazy piece of shit. That's the media for you. But what do you think? You've seen pictures of him.
So Rich Cimini can't give up on this. All right. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't care what's this guy's name? Connor, whatever his name is. Connor, whatever. The dude that writes for The Athletic.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what he thinks. I don't care what Rich Cimini thinks. I don't care what Brian Costello thinks. Honestly, they're reporters. They write stories to get people to listen to what they have to say, and they don't really care whether it's true or not. It's Connor Hughes from The Athletic, by the way. They wrote an article about him in minicamp saying that he came in. Sources told them that he was fat and lazy, and the Jets weren't happy. Mekhi's trainer came out and was like, fuck all of you hoes. He's putting in the work, and you're all going to eat your words. So Mekhi comes in yesterday looking, as TJ would say, svelte, looking strong.
Yeah.
And they have the audacity to go, glad he made a change. I'm sorry. I don't believe a change was made at all. I believe he looked like that back in minicamp. And they're comparing two pictures, all right? I'd just like to remind everybody that Mekhi Becton is 6'8", roughly 380 pounds. Podiums
He's a big guy.
Podiums tend to be about 4'10", right? Because the average person is somewhere. The average human being is somewhere between 5'4" and 5'10" in America. So that means that like if a podium was 4'10", it comes up to about here on me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If I'm 6'8", it comes up to my waist. So if I'm walking up to a podium and I have to talk to a microphone that's on said podium, I would probably lean over like this, like with my shoulders up because I'm leaning on a podium, and it would look like I have no neck because I'm hunched over a podium, right? Furthermore, the picture that Connor Hughes picked was Mekhi Becton leaning over the podium in a big puffy blue shirt that said Mekhi Becton, fat, lazy, nobody likes me, and it with a circle around it.
Yeah.
That was what the shirt said. And he had a scruffy beard and scruffy hair. He hadn't gotten a haircut. And then he posted a picture of Mekhi wearing a tight shirt yesterday with a clean, tightly cropped beard and a fresh haircut, and goes, clearly he lost weight by these two pictures. I don't know if Connor Hughes realizes this, but if I wear a baggy shirt, I look fat. If I wear a tight shirt, I look somewhat skinnier, depending on what I'm doing. So those two pictures don't show any evidence whatsoever. And then somebody commented, yeah, you could tell by his neck. He's like this. What the fuck could you tell from his neck? He had a beard like this, and he's like this.
But what was the difference between those pictures? How long was it between those pictures?
6 weeks, and they're saying that he lost 40 pounds in 6 weeks. I got news for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's really not really healthy.
No, it's not.
And then today, this was the coup de grace right here. So all of the reporters backpedal because they can't admit they were fucking flat out liars. I mean, their credibility is bad enough already being part of one of the worst groups that our country has to offer, right? The two worst groups being reporters and politicians. Both of them feed off of the failures and suffering of other human beings. They're awful human beings in their own right. But they backpedal on the, good thing Mackay changed his ways. He looks good right now. Samini posts today that Becton is out of shape and had to take a knee and drink water. I don't know if Rich Samini knew this, but today it was like fucking 95% humidity.
Yeah,
it was like 90 something degrees outside. And Mackay Becton is 6'8", 380 pounds. I went to the gym today. All right. I'm not a professional athlete, but my job does require me to be very physically fit for what I do for a living. And I have to go to the gym or else I'll lose my job. I was in the gym today and I had to stop for a second because my gym doesn't have the greatest air conditioning and drink a quart of water because I was dying. All right. So I can only imagine what a man who's 6'8", 380 pounds, pushing other grown ass men that are 6'5", 6'6", 290 pounds around feels like today. And even Mackay Becton's mom was just like, this guy just fucking is infatuated with my son.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. They're going after him pretty hard. I mean, it's just they don't cut him a break. I think I know people will talk about him being overweight and everything, but even if he did lose the weight, let's say he did lose the weight. All right, he lost the weight now. Now he's in shape. Training camp starts now. Didn't start at mini camp. You don't have to be there. It's voluntary, most of those. So why are you like harping on this one thing on this one dude? Just let him be. You know, like it's just that's the media though. The media is gonna try to, like you said, take on the failures and weaknesses of others and use it for their own platforms, basically. But I don't know. I think out of the Jets training camp, besides Mackay Becton, I think because I know you've already beat that to a dead bush. I don't want to put any more further.
I just real quick about Mackay Becton. So he didn't show up to voluntary workouts and they destroyed him for that. You know why he wasn't at voluntary workouts?
Why?
Because his wife gave birth to their child, his first child.
Oh, so there you go.
And they were like, yeah, I don't understand why he's not here. But clearly you don't have fucking kids or you don't love your kids. Yeah. Like I don't have kids. And I know like you have your first baby.
You should probably not go to voluntary.
It's important for you to be there. And I'll give you one further. Everybody was like, well, why can't he bring her with him? Oh, pregnant ladies that are fucking 9 months pregnant probably shouldn't get on a plane.
You can't. You're not allowed to.
That's one thing. B, if you're saying take a train or a bus, he's from Texas, she's from Texas. And this sounds crazy, I know. And I don't know. I'm not a lady. I don't have a wife. I don't have kids. But to me, it does sound reasonable that if my wife were pregnant and she was having our first child and she'd never done it before, she might want her mom and her sisters to be around.
Family be around.
I don't know. I don't know.
Even if you took a bus, granted, yes, you're allowed to be on a bus. It's still like, how long is that bus ride?
18 hours, 19 hours.
18, 19 hours.
Actually, from Texas, I'm a liar. If I'm from Texas, an hour, a day and a half.
Yeah, I was going to say, it got to be over a day. And you think about it, you know how tiny those buses are? They're worse than the Spirit planes. You know, like they're
even if you took a private bus, even if you took a private bus with a sleeper car and all that shit, if she wants to be with her family and she also wants you to be there as her husband and father of her child, guess where you're not going? Voluntary workouts.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you there. But other stories,
absolutely different.
So Zach Wilson, I think he's playing pretty well. People saying he looks like he's getting the book, he's getting the playbook, he's playing really well, he's commanding the huddle. I think that's positive, big step for Zach Wilson. Besides, I mean, if he's commanding the huddle, it must be because of that story that came out recently.
That's called experience.
It's called respect. Everyone's respected him more. You know, he's a sophomore, second year. But I'm expecting a jump from Zach Wilson. I mean, obviously, as a Jet fan, you're more expecting it more than probably someone like me who's not really a Jet fan. But
I'm not expecting. I'm hoping.
Hoping. I think you're hoping for it. I think you're probably more hopeful than most people. But I mean, how do you feel now so far after watching or seeing or hearing what you're hearing about Zach in practice during this first week?
I think the biggest thing for me with Zach Wilson is his melding with Corey Davis, his melding with Garrett Wilson. How he feels in the pocket. Now we have Mekhi Becton moving to right tackle. George Font will stay at left tackle. That's not an indication of Mekhi's ability. That's more of George is comfortable on the left. So George is going to play left.
Yeah.
Mekhi can play either. You know, it makes him stronger as a whole. You got Laken Tomlinson in there as he's going to play left guard. AVT is going to play right guard. So your right guard and your right tackle are Mekhi Becton and AVT. Connor McGovern's going to stay under center. Mm-hmm. Continuity is a very important thing for a quarterback, especially. So having the same guy snapping him the ball probably makes him feel great. Backfields, Michael Carter and Breece Hall, who I've heard Breece Hall looks great.
Yeah, I heard he's looking really good. Yeah.
But I think the most important things are the check downs. What I'm hearing from practices viewed by some of these leeches in the media, they're saying he's checking down. By the way, I just want to point out, I believe his name is Zach Rosenblatt is the new reporter for the Athletic, taking over for DJ B and Amy. So far I liked what he had to tweet. He's like the anti-Simony. We're like Simony, like Rosenblatt said something like Zach's taking a lot of pressure today from the right side. But just be advised that, you know, AVT and Mekhi Becton are not on the field. These are the backups getting beat by the starters on defense. Simony would have been like, Zach wasn't getting sacked all over the place, mostly from the right side.
Wait,
and would have left off the fact that Mekhi wasn't playing.
No, that's not even if he did do it. I saw that today. I think it was Simony. He was like, Zach is facing a lot of pressure. It's not like knowing what to do. Like pretty much bad mouthed him. And then there was
from the right side.
And there was someone else that tweeted below, like right below him. Someone posted the picture of both of them tweeting basically at the same time. And he was like, the line isn't completely there and the receivers aren't getting space. And then like someone's like, but why are you blaming Zach Wilson? Pretty much like, receivers weren't getting space against defenders. So you have nowhere to throw it. You have the offensive line that's
actually it was Rich Simony and Zach Rosenblatt. And the tweets were Rich Simony said, Mekhi Becton has been laboring through the early portion of practice. Offensive line drills, took a knee off to the side.
Well, that was the Becton one. I'm talking about the
Zach Rosenblatt said, Mekhi Becton has had to take a breather a couple of times already today, looking good physically, but still working on his stamina.
Yeah, I saw that one too. But
the dichotomy
I think it's both of them too. The same thing happened with the Zach Wilson thing where Simony was like, he's facing a lot of pressure, not knowing what to do with it. But then it's like, Rosenblatt was like, it's the offensive line's not there and the receivers aren't getting any space. So what is he supposed to do? Like, he's not handling it. It's because the team around them is not playing well. And they're not
it's probably the same account. That was Justin Gray that shared that little dichotomy of Jets media coverage.
Yeah, Jets media coverage, definitely.
Comparing Zach Rosenblatt, who's new again to the Athletic, to Rich Simony, who has shat on the Jets for 30 years. But the Jets signed Quan Alexander today for some linebacker depth.
They need linebacker depth too.
Good pickup. I mean, he's not going to start. They're going to start Quincy Williams. They're going to start CJ Mosley. But I don't believe that Jamie Sherwood or Hamza Nasruddin are in any position to start yet. I do like Hamza Nasruddin a lot. I'm a big Florida State fan, as you can tell. I have my Seminole shirt on, and he played at Florida State before he tore his leg up, and watched his draft stock fall tremendously. Obviously, he played safety at Florida State, so he's still. I mean, a year into the league, you're hoping that he picked it up, but it's the NFL, and some of these guys, obviously, most of these players have been playing their position for multiple years, not one. So he played safety previously. Now he's playing linebacker. You could try to sit there and make it seem like it's easy. I don't want to do that. Again, CJ Mosley played linebacker for 3 years of college, if not 4, and probably all of high school. So we're talking about 7 years playing linebacker and then playing professionally, before you're good.
Yeah.
And Hamza Nasruddin and Jamie and Sherwood, both safeties actually in college. They got 1 year professional as linebackers. Pump the brakes on how good they're going to be day one. You know what I mean? Or even year 2. It just.
In the NFL, people always get hurt. People always need breathers. So having Quan Alexander as a linebacker depth is definitely a solid move for the New York Jets. So.
Absolutely. I like Quincy Williams. The Williams brothers and both of them are very tremendous. The defensive line looks great on paper.
Yeah.
The Jets had a little thing the other day about like who they do a thing where when the players walk onto the field for practice, they hold up a little sign that says like, "What's your favorite meal?" or "What'd you do this summer?" And the question was, "What did you do this summer?" And some of them, like Zach Wilson, was like, "I went to Idaho with the boys. We did, we
Yeah.
did a couple of practices."
He went to Idaho with the boys, Bang Cougars.
Yes, CJ Uzama said the same thing. I went to Idaho with my boy Zach Wilson and the other guys.
Yeah.
But then they got to Double J, Jermaine Johnson. He goes, "I was in the gym putting in work."
Yeah.
And a lot of guys were like, "I was here. I was working." And to me, even Zach and CJ and Uzama, that is, not Mosley, and Braxton and Garrett and Denzel Mims, who's been the star of training camp the last 2 days.
Yeah.
They all went to Idaho. They had a good time with the great one, Wayne Gretzky. And apparently they went back to his house.
Yeah, he was there.
But they were working when they were there. They had fun. They did team building events. And I come from an organization that we do team building events. You know, obviously you team build when you work, but at the same time, like if you don't like each other off the field, it makes it harder to work together on the field. So I think that's a big thing. Like the chemistry off the field, believing in one another because you want your friend to do well. You know, I mean, like when there's wide receiver, quarterback beef, it's not a good thing. Like even in the Rex days, I never felt Santonio Holmes really liked playing for the Jets. Braylon Edwards, on the other hand, loved it, but I never felt Santonio Holmes appreciated the fact that he was playing for the Jets. Le'Veon Bell never appreciated playing for the Jets. You know, I don't think Le'Veon Bell or Santonio Holmes ever appreciated playing football for any team. It was just their job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Which is why their careers ended the way they did. You know, you can kind of tell what guys really love being, and generally it's the guys that end up with the same team for a very long time, even despite their talent level. You look at somebody like David Harris, ended up with the Jets forever because he enjoyed playing for the Jets, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys like that. So that was good. These guys saying, "Hey, I spent time with my other teammates. I was in the gym. I was working out. I was studying film. That's what I did during my summer vacation." That's awesome. And my last thing about the Jets is they asked CJ Uzama, like, "How's the thing going?" And he goes, "I actually live 2 doors down from Zach Wilson. So I'm going to be at his house eating dinner a lot, or getting meals over there." I guess he assumes the cougar that's leaving Zach's place is going to make breakfast for both of them.
Lisa Wilson.
How do you feel about the Giants going in?
So yeah, I was going to say we're going to take a quick break one more time so we're running along here. Then we'll be back. We'll talk about the New York Giants and some other NFL storylines. All right, and we're back. I want to start with this first before we get to the New York Giants. You definitely saw this as I was tweeting this out a few times, but Aaron Rodgers' transformation to Cameron Poe. If anyone knows me, I'm a huge Nick Cage fan. I know Nick Cage. Everyone's always like he's horrible actor, horrible movies. Con Air was incredible, and I love this every moment of this.
Con Air is amazing.
The Rock, come on, look at this. Cameron, he looks.
The Rock is great. The Rock is great.
Face Off is a good Nick Cage movie too.
Face Off is a good Nick Cage.
Almost identical. Look at this. I don't have the full
beard is too thick.
What's that? A beard's a little thick. Yeah, his beard's a little thick.
And he's not as ripped as Nick Cage, apparently.
No, apparently Nick Cage
was pretty vascular. I don't see that in Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's true. And the funny thing is, someone also said he actually also looks like Scott Stapp from Creed. Is that his name? Scott Stapp?
And they say that. Oh, is that Nickelback? I might have fucked that up.
Nickelback. That's the wrong one. No. Can you take me higher?
Please come now. I think I'm falling. You're lonely.
So that was the other.
That's got a great. That song has an awesome riff. That's a great. Hold me now. I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking. That's got a great riff. What's the name of that song?
I forgot. But I took the video of him walking into training camp. And I dubbed over the the scene when they introduce Cameron Poe to the FBI agents, and they're like, "Who's that guy?" And it's like, "That's Cameron Poe. He's a nobody." I'm like, "This is."
I've never seen Con Air.
You never seen Con Air?
Never seen Con Air.
Oh my god, dude! You
Not a
gotta
Nick
watch
Cage
it.
fan. I've never seen Gone in 60 Seconds either.
Oh, Gone in 60 Seconds is awesome too.
It's
That's
got
what
Nick Cage in it. It can't be that awesome. It's not National Treasure, so it can't be that great.
It's National Treasures is awesome too, both of them.
Yeah.
But no, that one has
It's more
Angelina
like a TV
Jolie, Robert Duvall, Angelina Jolie, are in Gone in 60 Seconds.
So
Giovanni
other than Robert
Ribisi.
Duvall, like I don't like Angelina Jolie either.
Giovanni Ribisi's in it too.
Okay, I like Giovanni Ribisi.
You should watch Gone in 60 Seconds at Con Air. And if you haven't, anyone who has not seen either of those movies, go and watch them immediately because those movies are great. And when I mean great, they're great in like a cheesy way. But well, let's move over to the New York.
Apparently,
Giants.
that's a remake, by the way.
What is Gone in 60 Seconds?
Yeah,
I think it is.
there's another movie from '74.
Yeah, because it's all about stealing cars and stuff. It's pretty good. So moving on to the New York Giants. New York Giants have a lot.
The New
going
York
on
Football
right now.
Giants.
New York Football Giants. We got new coach, new GM. Not a lot of salary cap. A lot of guys.
Same old quarterback.
We have Daniel Jones as a quarterback. People call it the Jones comeback season. I don't know about that. Offensive line obviously improved. They drafted Evan Neal. The defensive line got a little bit better. They drafted Kayvon Thibodeau. They did lose one of the edge rushers, Aziz. He got injured this week, so he's going to be out. They also lost Daniel Bellinger, who was a tight end. He's a rookie tight end. And I think he was out of San Diego, either San Diego State. Yeah, I think it was San Diego State. They drafted him later on. He looked pretty good during the rookie minicamp. They had him working with Daniel Jones. They had good chemistry going, but he got hurt. So those are going to be Ricky Seals-Jones as your starting tight end going into the season, unless Bellinger gets healthy between now and then. Then you have him will come off the PUP list. I mean, Jones is looking all right, but also it's still practice to me. So it's like he's had all these opportunities. People are like, let's give him another shot. You know, he might finally able to succeed on the Daboll's offense. He had three different coaches, 3 different coordinators, whatever it's been throughout his 4 years. And the Giants even said it before. John Mara's like, we've done everything we can to mess this kid up. But I just don't. I think he's not the guy in my eyes. I don't think even no matter what you put around him, you see what happened with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow obviously is a much better quarterback in this, so it's not really the best comparison. But they had zero offensive line on that team. And Joe Burrow took that team to the Super Bowl, despite that offensive line. Now, Daniel Jones' offensive line that was horrendous last season, one of the worst, and they could barely score 3 points. Like, what is missing here? I get the offensive lines. It was difficult to play behind the offensive line. He was always under pressure. He's probably always running scared. But you still got to be able to do something when you see shittier teams with barely, shitty quarterbacks, and they're putting up points, 15, 20 points. And the New York Giants are struggling to score 3 to 10 points, more than that in a game. So I don't think Daniel Jones is that guy. I'm still going to be that person that's going to say they're not a fan of Daniel Jones. I don't think he's the guy. I don't think he's the one who's going to make a big step this year. I think after this, Giants will still be looking for a quarterback. Some of the storylines I think was Kadarius Toney. He's been looking pretty good right now. They had a nice play recently over the top of one of the Giants DB. I can't remember the name, but Daniel Jones did throw a dime on that pass, but Kadarius Toney had to come down with it. It was a really tough play. It was a really nice catch. But like I said, once again, it's still practice. I want to see that translate to an actual game. See them when they're wearing pads on. See them against live, football speed, NFL speed players. And when you're not playing against your own teammates. Kenny Gallaudet had actually a really nice play. I was watching it earlier, and he just dropped the ball. Like I don't know what else you could do about it. He didn't have any touchdowns. Tony didn't have any touchdowns last year. It was hopefully the only time we could say that Andrew Thomas had more touchdowns than both the Giants' leading receivers. Hopefully that does not happen again this year. But I mean, right now the Giants, they're in rebuild mode. I'm not looking like a Giants playoff team. Not really looking at that right now. I think Daboll is definitely the guy to help the Giants get to being better. I could probably see about 6-7 wins maybe out of this team, maybe even less than that, but I wouldn't say more than that for this Giants team. But there's some promise coming out of the training camp so far, and I think that's Kadarius Toney.
I'm going to tell you right now, I will always root against that kid.
I know you will because of what he said about Henry
About
Ruggs.
the whole Henry Ruggs thing. I don't feel like that kid deserves to be in the NFL.
Yeah,
he's a full-on idiot, and
he is an idiot for that statement.
I will never have respect for that kid, and I will always root against him for the duration of his career for his comments about Henry Ruggs and how we need to reserve our judgment on him because
it was a mistake.
Poor Henry Ruggs made a simple mistake. It's not his fault. In Kadarius Toney's eyes, even though he fucking killed somebody, but and her dog on top of that, like add insult to injury. So I completely dislike Kadarius Toney, and I don't think he deserves to play in the NFL. But I digress. Leonard Williams is his 8th year in the league.
Yeah,
what has he got? Like 11 sacks now for his career.
He had that really good year. It was a contract year. I think he had a few sacks there.
You call that pulling a Muhammad Wilkerson.
Yeah, that's called I want to play really well to get my money and then not play well again after that. So, but it's
back when he was doing commercials still. Like he left the Jets doing commercials for like T-Mobile or Google or something like that.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him in too many commercials lately.
I'm hoping there's gonna be a big step here for Xavier McKinney. I'm looking for him. He's a safety for the Giants. I'm hoping that he has a big year this year. I don't know. The biggest thing coming out of New York Football Giants news right now is the throwback jerseys are back. The 80s and early 90s jerseys are back. They have the they have the helmets too, the navy blue helmets with the Giants written across as opposed to the NY. So I'm excited for that. But other than that, New York Football Giants, I don't know if I'm looking too forward to the season again. I just don't think it's going to be as people are building it up to be. I still think they're going to be struggling. I don't think they're going to be. I'm probably looking at a 3rd or 4th place finish in the NL. I'm NFC East here. I don't think it's better than that.
The Jets just released a black helmet. There's a few variations of helmets.
There's NFL relaxing their rules, so a lot of teams are coming up with the alternate helmet now, which is pretty cool.
Right. And a lot of fans are clamoring for those ugly ass jerseys from the 80s and 90s that Starter used to make.
The bright one, right?
For the Jets. Well, I love the logo. I love the old Jets logo from the 80s and 90s where the jet crosses the T.
Yeah.
I love that. But those jerseys are the most boring fucking jersey. And I hate today's modern fucking vernacular where they're so clean. The fuck does that? Does that mean is that synonymous with boring? Because they're like those jerseys are so clean, and it's literally 2 stripes on the sleeve, like a white collar, 2 stripes here, and a green jersey. And I'm like, and you think that looks great? You realize like 4 other teams in the NFL wear the exact same fucking jersey, right? Your team's called the Jets. There's not a jet anywhere on the fucking uniform other than the helmet, and you think that the fucking 2 stripes here are the way to go. You realize the 49ers wear the same fucking thing, right? 2 stripes on the sleeve. So do the Cowboys.
Well, they're all black with the 2 stripes.
No, their white and red jersey is a red jersey with 2 stripes.
Oh, yeah. No, that one. I'm talking about the Jets, though. Which one are you talking about?
No, they're talking about the 80s and 90s Jets jersey where it was a green jersey with 2 white stripes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, those are, I don't really like that.
I'm like, it's the same fucking thing that 3 or 4 other teams wear.
Well, the Jets are wearing the black ones, right? They're wearing the all black with the green.
We have alternative ones. Right? The alternate is black.
Yeah,
but they're talking about changing. Everybody dislikes the current jersey, which I understand because they hyped it up so much and they gave us a fucking jersey with sashes right here. But somehow, and this is the part I don't get. A green jersey with a white sash right here, unacceptable. But a green jersey with 2 regular fucking stripes, that's clean. It's the same fucking thing. It's the same boring garbage. At least the old Jets jersey was very Jets. Like only the Jets wore that jersey with the 2 stripes over. The sleeve was a different color than the rest of the jersey. Only the Jets wore that. Like the Colts have a very similar jersey, but the sleeve was the same color as the chest.
Yeah.
But only the Jets had 2 stripes. Boom. And the fucking sleeve was the same color, was a different color than the chest. Like only the Jets did that shit. And they're like, no, we need to go back to the jersey that the Cowboys wear right now and the 49ers wear right now. And like 2 or 3 other teams also wear right now. A plain jersey with 2 stripes. So my question for Jets fandom is if it's clean to have a green jersey with 2 white stripes on the sleeve, does it make it cleaner if they don't have any numbers and no stripes at all and they just wear a fucking green jersey with nothing on it? Is that like super clean? I don't know. A green jersey with a white number and 2 white stripes. Ooh, that's fire. Really? Fuck, really? A green jersey with white numbers and 2 white stripes. Ooh, really innovative. Holy shit. Watch out, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be on Runaways one day. Get the fuck out of here. Most boring shit I've ever seen in my life.
Well, the Giants.
I digress. Talking about jerseys, Russell Wilson showed up to practice the other day wearing his own jersey. Thoughts?
That was weird. It's really weird. So weird. He's
Right?
a weird dude. He's a weird guy, though.
It's like wearing the shirt of the band you're in or wearing the hat of the podcast you're on.
You ever see how awkward he is when he does like the when they get ready to do like, you go to a Jets game or a Giants, any football game, because the players are like, hey, get out of your seats, get up. He looks so awkward. He's like, let's go Denver. Like, come on, Denver, get out of your seats. Let's go. Like, he looks so awkward. It's like horrible. He's just an awkward dude. Anything he does is weird.
Does that make it better though?
No, doesn't make
No,
it.
okay. Some people are weird, and you're like, I dig it though. It's cool.
No, it's not cool when it's not Russell Wilson. Remember he did the Mr. He's like Mr. Unlimited. I'm Mr. Unlimited. He's so fucking annoying. He's the worst.
Kyler Murray extended to a
I wanted to talk about
contract where it says that he has like a mandatory 4-hour study period. All right.
So here's the thing:
they recanted that and they took that out of their contract.
Yes, they did. They took it out of the contract, but you're going to invest $250 million in a quarterback that one has never won a playoff game. The one playoff game he went into, he was abysmal. He threw 2 picks. He had a horrible QB rating. I think he threw for 70 something yards. Horrible. You're going to invest $250 million in this guy, and then you're going to write in there, it's mandatory for you to watch 4 hours of film because we know we can't trust you to watch film without there being a contract clause.
That's fucked up.
That's an issue.
Even if they take it out of the contract, we all know that he apparently doesn't watch video.
Film. We all know it now. Even if it's out of the contract, it was out there enough in the news to know that he does not watch film. And you're going to invest $250 million in a guy who needs to be reminded to go watch film. That he needed a contract clause. Even if it's gone now, he still needed at one point a mandatory 4 hours to watch game film. And you're going to invest. Imagine having to tell Tom Brady that you have to watch film. He'd be like, of course I do. That's my fucking job. I got to be there. I need to know what's coming up next. And Tom Brady, I don't think he's ever gotten a contract worth $250 million, and the guy still wins championships. All right. For the Cardinals, I would not have given Kyler Murray $250 million contract. That's just me. I don't think he deserves it. I think it's a stupid move.
He's 3 feet tall. But anyway, one of the things that I'm thinking of with the whole contract thing is it reminds me, I'm not comparing their talent, ability, or how they play by any stretch of the imagination, but having to put that clause in his contract that you have to watch. It reminds me of Jamarcus Russell a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that was one of his biggest knocks was he doesn't watch film.
Yeah.
Most quarterbacks that are successful, at least, watch film. They study the defenses. They prepare for the next week's game. And Jamarcus Russell's one of his biggest critiques was that he did not.
The story, right?
I do not know the story. Oh, they sent him
they sent him home with tape. They said, here's 4 at the time, I guess it's VHSs, whatever tapes it was.
No, definitely not. It was DVDs.
Whatever it was, they basically gave him this. Here's your film. He gave him 4 CDs, told him, go home, watch it, and tell us what you saw. And he came back and he was like, I saw this, saw that, whatever. And they were like, we gave you 4 blank DVDs. There's nothing on there. So they knew for a fact that he came in and just blatantly lied to their faces, saying that he saw all the different packages and everything. Meanwhile, those films were completely blank. There was nothing on there. And they basically caught him knowing that he didn't watch any film.
They should have put porn on there.
At least put something.
They should have put porn on there. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of Draft Day with Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
He gave him the playbook and put $100 in the back of it. Most guys never saw the $100 because they never looked at the playbook.
Yeah.
Bo fucking Callahan was like, nothing weird about that. Oh yeah, so you didn't find the $100. Oh yeah, good one, guys. Didn't even acknowledge that he didn't read the playbook.
Yeah,
lied about it twice.
Yeah.
Same deal. Same deal. So Kyler Murray, big contract. They changed it recently. Julio Jones signs with the
Bucks.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
He will be wearing, I believe, 83 is his number right now.
85, I think it was.
85. I'm sorry, 85. Excuse me. Because some nobody is wearing 11. Blaine Gabbert. Oh, got to show respect to Blaine Gabbert, Florida royalty.
He won a Super Bowl.
With who?
The Bucks.
Get the fuck out of here. All right.
He still gets a ring, man. He's a backup. He gets a ring.
Not lying. You're definitely right. He did win a Super Bowl with the Bucks.
The other story, DK Metcalf signed an extension. They said $30 million signing bonus, the highest ever going to a wide receiver.
Yeah, they had to give him that. He has nobody to throw him the fucking ball.
Yeah, you want to keep him around.
And staying on the Seahawks, Chris Carson apparently failed his physical. I saw the x-rays of his neck, and he decided to retire from professional football. And I got to say, Chris, smart move, man.
Good luck to you.
Great career. Sorry it got cut short, but, you know, I'm sure there's something out there for you.
So one of the cool things I read about that was actually the Seahawks actually did something to help him out because he's entitled to like insurance money or like for being physically unable to play. They instead of naming him or forcing him to retire, they put him on some sort of physical whatever the designation was, and basically that helps him get money from the pool money for people who are injured, and that helps him and his family moving on in the future. So good for them to help him out, considering he had to cut his career short, middle of it. And he was a very good player, very good fantasy guy too. He's always getting traded around. People always wanted him. But I think is that it for the NFL stories? I think so, right?
One last thing. Leonard Fournette showed up looking like a fat Jerome Bettis.
No, but he's not though. He's at the right weight. There was rumors that he was supposed to be really fat, but it came back when he weighed in for camp. He was at the right size, so he's not fat. Okay,
all right. I thought because they were like, oh, he's fat, and somebody goes Jerome Bettis, and they were like Jerome Bettis wasn't fat, and they were like, you fucking high right now, because they were saying that Leonard Fournette was weighing like 240.
They said I think he was wearing 260, and he came in. He did weigh. I don't know if he was weighing 260.
And they say he was weighing 260,
but he's down at 240 again. So he lost.
He pulled what's it called? He pulled a Kelvin Benjamin.
He's one pop-out biscuit away from being a tight end.
and somebody goes, oh, he's fucking Jerome Bettis now, and somebody goes, Jerome Bettis was 238 pounds. I was like, yeah, he's like 4 inches shorter than fucking Leonard Fournette too. Jerome Bettis was a fat fuck. I don't care what anybody says. Jerome Bettis was an offensive lineman running.
His nickname was the Bus. He wasn't skinny.
They don't call him the Bus because he's afraid to fly. All right.
Yeah, he's not John Madden.
He's called the fucking Bus because he's a fat fuck.
Yeah. Oh god.
But I don't think I have anything else from the NFL this week. Other than
for a slow week in sports, we stretched out an hour and 20 minutes.
We did it. I was very fired up about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But one last thing. Did you see the joke between, I guess it's between Aaron Rodgers and his former wide receiver, Davante Adams?
Yeah.
Did you see the joke, the back and forth?
No, what was it?
They asked Davante Adams, like, what's it like going from, Aaron Rodgers to David Carr as your quarterback? You have to build that chemistry. He's like, well, it's always tough going from one Hall of Fame quarterback to another Hall of Fame quarterback.
I did see
so
that.
They asked Aaron Rodgers, what's it like losing Davante Adams? Now you have to build that rapport with I honestly can't remember the guy's name. His name's like Lorenzo or something like that. Their new number one. Which I can't remember his name right now. He goes, well, it's always hard going from one Hall of Fame receiver to another. You didn't catch that?
No, I didn't realize it. I knew that he said it, Davante Adams. I didn't realize that Aaron Rodgers said it back.
It was actually today. It was actually today, and
was it Alan Lazard? No, Alan Lazard.
Yes. Alan Lazar. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, 100%.
That's funny.
That was the video today of Aaron Rodgers. It's it's always hard going from one Hall of Fame wide receiver to another, and all the reporters obviously got a good laugh about it. And the question was like, is he poking fun at Devontae Adams, or is that just good banter? Obviously, that's good banter. That's just a joke.
Which Nick Cage character was he dressed as during that interview?
He was the vampire's assistant or some shit like that. What was that one?
Yeah,
he was Big Daddy from Kick-Ass.
Yeah, Big Daddy from Kick-Ass. Spider-Man Noir from Into the Spider-Verse.
But I think that's it for the NFL. At least up to Thursday. I'm sure they'll give us some more. Rich Cimini will shit on the fucking Mekhi Becton a little bit more over the next couple days, and Zach Wilson will bang a few more moms between now and the start of the season. If you're out there, get Coach Mike Westhoff's book. Figure it out. It's out everywhere right now. It's on Audible, and he reads it. So if you want to hear it from the author's mouth, it's on Audible. I started it today on Audible, and just the prologue alone enlightened me to a lot about who he is as a man, and his journey as a coach and a human being. And
he'll be back.
And hopefully, he said he'll come back, and we'll talk to him sometime soon. He was at camp 2 days ago with the Jets. And hopefully we'll have Coach Mike Westhoff back in a short time. Yeah,
we're gonna do football-centric episodes too, besides the regular weekly episode. We're gonna have a Jets one led by Nick and TJ, and then we're gonna do a Giants one that I'll do, and I'll probably figure out find some other co-hosts. Unless Nick doesn't really want to sit around talking Giants football.
I mean, I will, but it won't be casting them in a very good light.
Positive light. Neither would I be though. I just shit on them all day.
Listen, I can totally talk about the Giants. I'm not gonna have anything good to say because their quarterback is trash and their number one wide receiver. I guess he's good, but I haven't seen him do it on the Giants. And the number 2 wide receiver is dirtbag fucking kid. And I'm pretty sure their new defensive end is crazy.
Yeah, Kayvon Thibodeau.
That kid is weird. When he showed up to the NFL draft with a Snickers fucking suit on, I was like, this is strange. I hope we don't draft this guy. That's a little strange. And then Leonard Williams is just taking up space.
Yeah, that's true. But that's that. And then
McKinney's good. I like McKinney.
Yeah, McKinney's really good.
If Saquon can stay healthy, Saquon's, he's Saquon.
Yeah, that's the key, though, to keep him healthy. But also look for our interview. We're going to release an interview with the guys from Savannah Bananas, Zach and Biko, director of entertainer, and then the broadcaster who calls the games as well for Savannah Bananas. So look for that. That's going to be interesting. It's a really good interview. Me and Nick just did it earlier today, and that was a ton of fun. Savannah Bananas are such a fun experience watching them. I would love to see them play sometime in person because it just seems like a ton of fun. So I think it about does it for episode 56 of the Scoreboard X podcast.
How did we get this far? 56. Holy cow.
56 is a lot. We do weekly. I mean, we only took a couple weeks off throughout the last year. So pretty crazy. 56.
Good times. But we bid you adieu. Thank you for spending this time with us. We'll catch you again next week. And as always, keep reaching for the stars while keeping your feet planted on the ground. Adios.